What's up guys, Hotori is just dropped. We just got done doing a couple hours of viewer pools. We've rolled over 300 times for Hotori. We hit her ourselves, we got her Paracel skin, but now it's time for the guide. We got to talk about how we're playing Hotori and how I'm personally going to be using her going forward. So Hotori has a super dope design. She's got that time stop ability. She is a Cosmo buff character. To me, she's more of a sub DPS burst character than a buff character, and that's how I intend on using her and foresee using her in the future. She uses the solid arc, which leads to my choice of arc, which is going to be the Fluff of Fearlessness. I'm not pulling for her signature arc. Her signature arc is going to be the best arc on her for the foreseeable future. If that changes, then that'd be a surprise, but her signature arc is built for her. It is good. It'll increase her damage a lot. So definitely consider pulling for that if you intend on being a Hotori main, giant Hotori simp. But Fluff of Fearlessness definitely does the job. It's the Battle Pass arc. It increases her attack for 10 seconds after she casts her ultimate, and it has crit rate as its substat, so it's pretty good. I intend on just maxing this out through the Battle Pass. Day Off is also another option. It could work, but you get charge efficiency instead of crit rate, so I wouldn't necessarily go for that one. Another option would be this $3 arc, The Rain That Shook the World. It's a pretty decent arc. It's got crit rate, it deals 30% increased Cosmo damage with the wearer's skill and ultimate, and it increases their cycle rate, or cycle intensity. So it's pretty good, decent, but I just plan on using the Fluff of Fearlessness as my paid option. Next up for Hotori's cartridges, you're going to want to go for Lost Radiance. It gives you the 10% Cosmo damage bonus, and the 4-piece ignores 25% of the enemy's defense for 20 seconds after using your ult. That's when you're going to be dealing a majority of your damage. And then you're going to get extra increased Cosmo damage by 10% for each Type 3 module you have equipped. Obviously, I don't have the most efficient setup right now. Once I get some more pieces, I'll iron this out and I'll make it look more pretty. It'll be better, but this is what I've got for now. Lost Radiance will be really good on her though, and then we're going to squeeze in as many of those 3 pieces. Here's a picture of the ideal layout that you'd want to shoot for when you're putting together your cartridge and modules. You'll definitely get a huge Cosmo bonus when using this setup. And the substats that we're going to want to aim for are crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and yeah, just your typical big damage, bigger damage, better person. For Hotori skills, her ultimate really is the highest priority, followed by her skill and then her basic attack in my opinion. Her support skill, it's whatever. Level up the support skills whenever you can. And then of course level up her passives when you can. Her Blossom enhancement is pretty cool. It allows you to get your attacks going off during the time stop from your little plants. But her second passive, it just gives you a giant increase to your ultimate's finishing attack, doubling it. So that's dope. Her basic attacks are 5 consecutive Cosmo damage attacks. She's got a dash attack when you hold down. It's a very small dash, but it is a dash attack. And then she's got a plunge attack. She's got a riposte, all that good stuff. But then we've got the non-closed timepiece, which is Hotori's special energy bar that she's got. We'll explain how that works later on. It accumulates instead of having typical cooldowns on both your ultimate and your skill. You don't generate ultimate energy. You're able to cast it based on your special meter. Hotori's skill, like I said, it's got no cooldown. You just spend 60 of that non-closed timepiece energy. And once you cast this skill, you deal some Cosmo damage. After that, you have a 5-second window to get off 3 skills from the rest of your teammates. So that means you're going to be swapping into your other teammates, casting their skills, and then Hotori will gain a stack up to 3 stacks for each skill that you've casted, and you'll leave behind a little ghost on the field, and this leads into her ultimate. Once you have enough energy to cast Hotori's ultimate, you cast World's Tide. She does a giant badass burst of damage, and then you draw a katana out of your Paracel and you start swinging that thing around. You get 10 attacks with that katana, and the 10th attack does a giant burst of damage like we said with her other passive. That finishing attack is going to be a big chunk of damage, especially once we could get this passive unlocked. And then for you life skillers out there, Hotori grants auction house life skills. So if you're into the auction house, that's pretty cool. If you're pulling for Hotori's Awakenings and you manage to do so, the priorities I'd be looking at are Flourish and Time Takes Away. Time Takes Away is probably the second priority, and it makes Hotori ignore a portion of the enemy's defense during the time stop, which is going to further increase her damage by a good amount. And then Flourish increases Hotori's damage during time stop up to 36%, and that's based on how many skills you get off after casting her skill. So those stacks that you get, like that's 36% bonus damage. That's a pretty huge burst of damage for when you use your ultimate. Next up, I want to talk about Hotori's Teams. This is what I'm currently rolling with. We've got Hotori as the sub DPS. We've got Nanally as the more main on-field DPS. We've got our main character Esper Zero in there to get off some more Esper cycle reactions. And then we've got G1 for support. So we'll get off a ton of Blossom with this team. However, there are many options that you could roll with. This is the team that I'm going to be showcasing. After we talk about how this team actually works, we'll get into the combat and I will show off how to do this in practice. But if you're looking to see other Hotori team comps, come stop by the live stream sometime. We'll try some other things out. This is what I'm rolling with right now. There are several other options. Like you could sub Nanally out for Mint if you don't have Mint. You could sub G1 out for Sakiri or Haniel or another support. Those are all options that could work, and you could still continue to focus on those Blossom reactions. There's also even a Discord team that I've seen where you run Hotori with Daffodil and Aurelia and Sakiri, with Aurelia providing the main DPS and Daffodil and Hotori both being sub DPSs. Sakiri's an excellent support, so she's just a beast in general. But Hotori in that team, she doesn't provide anything to the Discord core, but she still does a huge chunk of burst damage, which is pretty cool. And you're able to capitalize on that burst damage when the enemy is broken, and they're going to be broken with Daffodil on your team. But this is the team I'm rolling with, and this is kind of how I use them, right? So I lead the fight with Hotori. When you cast Hotori's skill, you have 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, I'm swapping into G1. I'm casting G1's skill. I'm then swapping into Esper Zero, casting Esper Zero's skill, and then I'm quickly swapping into Nanally and getting her skill off, as well as getting a Blossom reaction off. I'm then going to spend some time on Nanally, and I'm going to pump out as much damage as I can. And during this time, Hotori's time piece gauge is filling up before she's able to cast her ultimate. I'm dealing damage with my main on-field DPS, Nanally. So we go Hotori into G1, into Esper Zero, into Nanally. We make sure that we get off the 3 of their skills within 5 seconds, deal some damage with Nanally, swap into Hotori and use her ultimate. Once we use her ultimate, we're able to get off 10 attacks with her katana, and it looks really, really cool, and she deals big damage. And then we could kind of rinse and repeat from there. Once Hotori's skill is charged back up, you want to make sure that your other character's skills are off cooldown, so that when you use her skill, you're able to get off all 3 skills again during that 5-second window. So during this time, you could be charging up Hotori's cycle gauge, and then you could swap into G1, and then you could proceed to go through that rotation. That's just how I'm doing it. I'm still learning if there's any ways to min-max this. But yeah, we're going to go check out how to do that in action real quick. I really want to go into combat with no UI, but that's probably not going to work for me or for a guide. So yeah, we got the UI back. So as you can see, her gauge is fully charged in the bottom left. When I go in there and I attack this plant dude, I'm going to gain 3 bars above my HP bar right here. You could see them vaguely. Okay, they're already there. But I'm going to be able to fill up these 3 bars by using my team's skills, and then we're going to swap into Hotori once she's able to cast her ultimate. We'll probably kill this dude pretty quick. We could get off another cycle gauge here. Her ultimate is just about charged. Pop that off. Now time is going to stop. We're able to chill for a little bit. It looks super cool. But we get these 10 auto attacks. We get these 10 katana attacks. We killed it too soon. But our last auto attack here would have been a big burst of damage. So we killed it way too fast, which was kind of satisfying. That's kind of the gist of how she works. Pretty cool. We didn't get off the last attack, which is one of the coolest parts. We're going to run it back one more time. I'll do things nice and slow for you guys, don't worry. So we're going to run it back one more time because I want to get her ult off. But you could pay attention to how I go through this combo. We're going to do her skill, do G1 skill, switch into Esper 0, switch into Nanally, do her skill. We're going to try and do less damage here so that we could actually get her stuff off. It looks like this time we'll be able to. But yeah, you want to pump out the damage with Nanally. You could get her cycle up and switch into... Oh, we're doing it too quick again, I think. But yeah, during this time we do big burst of damage. Are we going to be able to get the 10th attack off? I don't know. I'm going to waste a couple attacks. Big attack. Very cool. But yeah, that's a quick and easy guide for how I'm using Hotori. I think she's super cool. I think that she's only going to get cooler as we get more characters to use her with. And I think that there's a lot of room for improvement for what I'm doing. It's a pretty simple setup. I think that you can make it work with some A tier characters, swap them out, and you can make some magic with this chick. I think she's got room to grow for sure. I think she is a pretty cool pool. And I would love to know down in the comments below what team you're using her with or how you're using her. And just let me know how much you're enjoying playing with her. I know she's been out for a very short time, but we'll see how the game expands as we get more characters added to the roster. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this little guide, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Like the video. We're trying to do a Hotori giveaway, so if this video gets the likes that I want to see, unlike the other videos, they haven't reached, but let's get at least 100 likes on this. Come on. We'll do a Hotori giveaway for anybody who doesn't have her. Subscribe for future Neverness to Everness content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.